Good morning, students. Tomorrow we are discuss capital budgeting techniques used in project management. You also know capital budgeting means one of the aspects of the project management is taking right decision in the respect of investment of funds. The success of any business depends upon the investment of funds in such a way as to yield maximum rate of return from an investment. It means that okay, what are the value of investment and what are the value of investment of funds in your business. That is very important because of capital is an initial requirement of any business, and how to utilize the capital is called capital budgeting. And what are the techniques used in investment, it called capital budgeting techniques. Okay, an investment is the employment of the funds with the aim of achieving additional income or growth in the value over a period of time. An appraisal of any investment proposal is necessary to ensure that the investment of the resources will yield a desired benefit in the future. And the other thing is, first of all, we are decided the value of investment, then we are decided what are the time of investment, means how how to use the capital in our business. And other than the various investment proposal, that is the actual value of your investment proposal. And other thing is how to use the investment, it means the long term or short term or the medium term. And what are the tools used to evaluation of your investment, means suppose your investment value is 10 lakh. So what are the results after 5 years of rupees 10 lakh? It means you must analyze what are the returning value of your investment, what are the returning profit of your investment. It is a basic techniques, it is a basic evaluation of your capital. And the other thing is, because he has to follow some techniques for making the appraisal of an investment proposal. So, in this model, we shall desire the various appraisal methods and the different techniques you with their the relative merits show that you could identify the best method of appraising investment proposal in the different situations. Let's see the finally what is important is the value of capital, how much value invest which area you invest, what are the basic scope of your investment with your situations. So that is the basic parts of your capital budgeting techniques. Okay. The next thing is capital budgeting technique. At the each points of the time, a project manager will have a numbers of investment proposal regarding the various projects in which he can invest money. In such situation, he has to compare, the evaluate all these projects, and decide which one to take up and the which one to reject. It means that the project manager play is a very important role in your numbers of investment proposal. It means that how much money you invest in your business, he decided by project manager. How much you return, he decided by project manager. It means that the project manager is a very efficient person, is a very pinpoint manager in the field of investment business. In such situation, he has to compare. In such situation, he has to compare the same investment values in the same fields. Means that if your investment value is in favor of your, so you can accept this proposal, otherwise you can reject this proposal. In order to maximum the value of the firm, it is imperative that the best or the most profitable investment projects are selected. And the other thing is, there are a numbers of techniques available for the appraisal of the investment proposal and can be classified. It means that capital busting has a two major parts, that is the traditional methods and the discounted cash. And the traditional part is payback period and the accounting rate of return. And the discounted part is net present value method and the internal rate of return method. And the first of all, and the other thing we are discussing the traditional method. The traditional methods cover the two parts, that is number one is payback period method and the next is accounting rate of return method. Okay, and the first is payback period. You know that the payback period, pay means pay, back means return, and the period means time. What what value of amount return in a specific time? It means that payback period method is also known as the payoff or payout method. It is most popular and the widely accepted the traditional methods of the evaluating capital investment proposals. Payback period is the period in which the total investment parameters, total investment in permanent assets pay itself back. It means your focus when you are use the payback period method, so your focus is the total investment value. The total investment value you invest in permanent assets because pay itself back. It is based on the principle that every capital investment pay itself back over a period of the time from the additional earning of the project itself. It means that where the total earning from the investment equal to the total outlay, that is the period in the payback period. Okay, other thing is when suppose that a fixed assets of rupees 1 lakh and the additional earning from the assets over a 5 years 24,000 and 36,000, 40,000 and 40,000, 32,000. The payback period in the case of would be the 3 year, because the total investment get fully recovered by earning of the first 3 years. Okay, it is a payback period. The investment value, when you when your investment value is earned by different parts, you're earning by different parts, it means that कि जब आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू को जब हम कितने साल में रिकवर कर पाएंगे, कितने कम से कम टाइम में हम उस इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू को रिकवर कर पाएंगे, तो उस टाइम पीरियड को हम कहते हैं पे बैक पीरियड. मीन्स दैट. ओके, एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज there is some format कि how to calculate the payback period in this method. So you have a basic formula of the payback period method is the original investment upon annual cash inflow. Okay, how to calculate the original investment is known as, everybody is known the original investment, and the value of the investment is given in your problems. And the annual cash inflow, how to calculate cash inflow from the sales revenue. And there is a format of the इसमें से हम माइनस करते हैं ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस इंक्लूडिंग डेप्रिसिएशन that comes from the net income before tax less income tax, that means the net income after tax. Add depreciation means that the value of net cash inflow. Okay, it is a annual cash inflow, it means that. Okay, so you have a formula, calculate the payback period is equal to original investment upon the annual cash inflow. Okay, the question is, what are the benefit of payback period? बेनिफिट इज, अगर सपोज अगर हम ये कहें कि इसका क्या फ़ायदा क्या है हमको, इसका फ़ायदा हमें ये नज़र आता है कि भाई एटलीस्ट सपोज कि हम ये कहते हैं कि हमें ये पता लग जाता है कि इन्वेस्टमेंट की वैल्यू कितने साल में रिकवर हो रही है, या हम ये देख सकते हैं कि हम इसमें कितना प्रॉफिट जो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी है उसको मेज़र कर ले, तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी मेज़र हो जाएगी, कितने तरीके से मेज़र हो सकती है. या फिर हम ये देख सकते हैं कि अगर जो कैश की जो डेफिशिएंसी है वो किस तरीके से हो पा रही है या नहीं हो पा रही है, अगर हम ये देखें. ठीक है, या हम ये देखते हैं कि लिक्विडिटी की क्या पोजीशन है, लिक्विडिटी किस तरीके से हम मेंटेन कर पाएंगे. या हम जो है अगर ये भी देख सकते हैं कि जो है बिजनेस की जो अनसर्टेनिटी होती है ना, उसको हम किस तरीके से हम इसको मैनेज कर पाएंगे. या फिर हम ये देख सकते हैं कि जब हम इवेल्युएटिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल्स जब हम ये कर रहे होते हैं, तो हम ये देख लेते हैं कि इसमें एक्यूरेसी इन द एस्टिमेट्स द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इज़ नॉट क्वाइट गुड. क्योंकि होता क्या है कि जो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी है वो आपने डिसाइड करी कि भाई आप इतना प्रॉफिट अर्न करोगे, लेकिन ज़रूरी नहीं कि एक्यूरेसी के अकॉर्डिंग ही आपका वो फिट बैठ जाए, थोड़ा बहुत आगे पीछे हो सकता है ना. इट हैज़ द बेसिक बेनिफिट्स, एंड वंस अगेन द बेनिफिट इज easy to calculate and simple to understand. It is a good indicator how to quickly the amount invested in the going to be recovered. And the second is, it provides the conveying the measures of the profitability of the alternative projects and the aids making by the choice. And the third is useful where the firms is suffering from the cash deficiency. And the next is liquidity requirement. Earlier in cash flow. Hence, hence, the firm having a high liquidity requirement prefer these tools because it involves the minimal waiting time for recovery of the cash outflow. ओके, हम ये देख लेते हैं कि इसमें जो है कितने टाइम पीरियड में हमारी रिकवरी हो पाएगी. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज द बिजनेस एंटरप्राइजेस फेसिंग द अनसर्टेनिटी फेस करता है क्योंकि बोथ ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी प्रेफर दिस मैथड ड्यू टू द टेक्नोलॉजिकल ऑब्सोलेंस एंड द प्रोडक्ट ऑब्सोलेंस. दोनों चीज़ों के फेस कर सकता है, अनसर्टेनिटी हो सकती है. इट इज़ हैंडली tools for evaluating investment proposal where the accuracy is the estimates of the profitability is not vital. ओके, तो जब एक्यूरेसी की बात करेंगे तो फिर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की बात नहीं हो पाएगी, जब प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की बात करेंगे तो एक्यूरेसी की बात नहीं हो पाएगी. दोनों ही जो है वाइटल है. ओके, अब देयर आर द सम लिमिटेशन ना. पेबैक पीरियड की कुछ लिमिटेशंस भी होती है हमारे पास, क्योंकि द पेबैक पीरियड मेथड सफर्स फ्रॉम द फॉलोइंग लिमिटेशन. दैट मीन्स नंबर 1, दिस मेथड इग्नोर द पोस्ट पेबैक एनुअल कैश इनफ्लो. This method ignores the time value of money. Sum to be received in the future should be the discounted to current values. It overlooks the cost of capital. And the next is the method is not flexible. The method is not flexible. A small changes in the cost of production will be affect the cash inflow, and the such it will also affect payback period. The next is it overemphasizes the importance of the liquidity as a goal of capital investment decision. These also are the limitation of the project because देखिए होता क्या है कि अगर उसके कुछ बेनिफिट भी है तो कुछ ना कुछ उसके ड्रॉबैक्स भी होता है कि अगर हम इसे एक तरीके से तो हम देख रहे हैं कि जो है हम इसमें इतने टाइम में हम रिटर्न ले लेंगे, लेकिन फिर हम क्या करते हैं कि हम जो इन्वेस्टमेंट की एक एक वैल्यूज़ को, जैसे अगर आपके पास आपने देखा होगा कि टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी, तो व्हाट आर द यूज़ ऑफ टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ, यू मेजर्स यू कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट. तो आप उसको इग्नोर कर देते हो, आप उन सब चीज़ों को दिमाग में नहीं रखते हो, या पोस्ट पेबैक भी पेबैक जो एनुअल इनफ्लो है उसको आपने वो रख लिया, या आपने कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल के, जब आप कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल व्हेन यू आर कैलकुलेट द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल मीन्स कॉस्ट ऑफ डेब्ट कैपिटल, कॉस्ट ऑफ इक्विटी कैपिटल, कॉस्ट ऑफ डिवेंचर्स, cost of retained earning. So these all factors you overlook. Okay, the method is not flexible. मतलब अगर आप देखें तो flexible नहीं है मेथड. बस ये फ़र्क ये पड़ेगा कि कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन अगर इफेक्ट डालना है तो कैश इनफ्लो में जो है फ़र्क पड़ना ही है. ठीक है. एंड द सेकेंड मेथड इज अकाउंटिंग रेट ऑफ रिटर्न. ओके, सेकेंड मेथड इज accounting rate of return. The reasonable rate of return on investment is desired by the every business houses so that the method takes into the accounts to the earning expected on investment over their whole life. Okay, तो हम ये देखना चाहते हैं कि भाई जो हमारी इन्वेस्टमेंट से जो एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग होगी होल लाइफ की वो क्या होगी. देयर the decision is to be taken for the purpose of evaluating capital investment proposal. Earning from the capital investment is being calculated. Okay, it is important to that कि आप जो है इसमें क्या करते हो कि evaluation of capital investment proposal, capital investment proposal को evaluate करते हो और उससे क्या करते हो, उससे अर्निंग करते हो. अर्निंग फ्रॉम द कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट इज बीइंग कैलकुलेटेड. इट इज द minimum rate of return. It means the cut-off rate. Another thing is a cut-off rate, which the firms may decided that they will not undertake any projects. The rate of return is to be decided by the management. Under this method, profit are taken on the basis of the accounting concepts, that is, the profits after depreciation and tax. Out of the various alternatives capital projects, the one that gives the highest rate of return in general would be more acceptable than others. Profitability thus becomes the basis of capital expenditure decisions. Average rate of return method calculated the profitability on the different proposal in the following manners. It means that rate of return is the ratio of earning to investment. Okay. Another thing is, दूसरे वर्ड्स में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि rate of return is the ratio of earning to investment. There are two various principles, two various approaches in this on the for calculations, that is the average annual earning from the projects upon original investment in projects into whole divided by 100. Okay, rate of return, annual rate of accounting rate of return is equal to average annual earning for the projects whole divided by original investment in projects, or average annual earning from the projects, or average investment in the projects. There are the two basic approaches. You can use both of you, or one of them. That is the average annual earning means they are the computed by the totaling the expected annual profits of all the years during the life terms of the project, and the dividing the totally the numbers of the years. It means the average. There are the average annual earnings may be the expressed in the three ways. Number one, earning before depreciation and tax, earning before depreciation but after tax, earning after depreciation and tax. There are the following three manners to express any earning in the you must read in the before use in management accounting: profit before interest and tax, profit after interest and tax, and the profit after tax. So there is this thing is okay. The management should be the obviously use the similarly notion for the all capital decision. Okay, and the next is the original investment. It is refers to the total cost of the project till the commissioning minus any salvage value. अगर कोई ओरिजिनल इन्वेस्टमेंट का मतलब ये हो सकता है कि जो टोटल कॉस्ट है उसमें से जो salvage value means salvage value, which value is the end of the project, the value is here. And the next is average investment. It means that the original cost divided by 2, and where there is some salvage value recovered at the end of the life of the assets, it would be 1 by 2 of original cost minus salvage value plus salvage value. It is the average investment value. Okay, there are the popular formula. Average rate of return means the average annual earning after depreciation and tax divided by average investment into 100. अब क्वेश्चन ये बनता है कि what are the basic benefit of average rate of return method? The main advantage is that is the simple and easy. Okay, and the next is easy to understand as it provides the accurate estimate of the time needed for the organization to be recouped the cash invested. Okay, same as per below. The concept of the accounting rate of return is the familiar concept to be calculated return on investment. The profit are calculated on the basis of the accounting concepts, that is the profit after depreciation and tax. Okay, and the next is there is no confusion, profit after depreciation tax. And the next thing is it provides the sound yardsticks for the comparing the profitability in the different projects. And the next is average rate of return ARR, considered all net incomes over the entire life of the projects, and the provides a measures of the investment's profitability. Okay. And the next thing is limitations of this method. There are the basic some limitations, means that average rate of return methods also ignored the time value of money and the considered the value of the cash flow to be equal. And the next is the techniques uses accounting numbers that are depends on the organization choice of the accounting procedures and the practices. And the next is the method use net income rather than cash flows, while the net income is a useful measure of profitability. The net cash flow is a better measure of an investment performance. And the next is the fair rate of return on the capital invested is a quite difficult है ना. इसमें लिमिटेशंस ये भी हमारे पास आ रही है कि जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है इसमें कुछ तो कॉमन ही है आपके पास है, लेकिन एक जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट हमारे पास आ रहा है कि जो हम जब हम फेयर रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ऑफ कैपिटल हम जब इन्वेस्ट कर रहे होते हैं तो ये थोड़ा सा डिफ़िकल्ट होता है, मतलब फेयर तो नहीं आता, बस ये हो सकता है कि नियर अबाउट आपका रिजल्ट हो सकता है. ओके. तो देर इज वी आर डिस्कस द ट्रेडिशनल मैथड देर आर ट्रेडिशनल मैथड्स में जो है दो मैथड्स हमारे इंक्लूड होते थे, एक था पे बैक पीरियड और एक था आपके पास एवरेज रेट ऑफ रिटर्न मैथड. ओके. एंड द सेकेंड इज discounted cash flow method. Okay. Traditional method and the discounted cash flow method. Discounted cash flow method, sometimes also called the time adjusted techniques, they are and the important tools in the hands of the management to evaluate the profitability of the capital expenditure. You also know what is the meaning of capital expenditure. Capital expenditure means, you know what are the difference between expenses and expenditure? In the business houses, the expenses and expenditures both are the different things. Expenses is a short terms and the expenditure is a long terms. It means the capital expenditure means the long term investment. The basic characteristic of these techniques in the concept of cash flow. Okay. The cash flow are the discounted to the present value because the value of rupee today cannot be the equivalent to the value of rupee after the 2 years. So the time value of money considered both for the amount invested and the cash flow generated from the investment. So that means that the discounted cash flow techniques thus the overcome the shortcoming the payback period method by the taking into the accounting entire period of use. These techniques are mainly of two types. There is net present value method and internal rate of return method. Internal rate return method or time adjusted rate of return method. Okay. So we are discussing the two capital expenditure techniques, traditional and the discounted. It means the traditional has also the two parts, payback period and the accounting rate of return, and the discounted cash flow method. There is a two also parts, net present value and the internal rate of return. And the next is net present value method. Net present value is the considered as the most suitable techniques of evaluating the capital investment proposal. It takes into it takes into account the time value of money. An investment has cash flow throughout its life, and it is accumulated that a rupee of the cash flow in the early years of an investment is worth more than a rupee of a cash flow in the last year. Means that the net present value means cut-off rate of investment. Cut-off rate of investment is the combination of cash inflow and the cash outflow. Cash inflow means what are the present value of cash inflow, means हमारे पास कितना कैश लिक्विडिटी आएगा at the time of present, and in the other hand the present value of the cash outflow are calculated at the rate of return which is acceptable by the management. ये तो चीज होगा. The rate of return considers is also the cut-off rate, and generally we calculated the cost of capital means in the project. And the other thing is cash outflow represents the investment and the commitment of the cash at the different point of time, and the cash inflow represents the profits before depreciation and after tax. Net present value is the difference between the present value of the future can inflow from and the investment and the present value of cash outflow. It means that the present value of the expected cash inflow is computed by the discounting them at the required rate of return. So there are some steps to calculate the net present value. It means the number one is to find out net cash inflow in the each year of the investment, and the next is select the desired rate of the return, and the third is find out the discount factors for each year based on the desired rate of return, and the next is find out the present value of the net cash inflow by the multiplying the cash inflow by the discount factors. Okay, and the next is the total of the amount of cash inflow discounted at the cutoff rate. That is the lastly it is a subtract the present value of the initial investment. Okay, and the what are the acceptance and the rejection criteria? If the net present value is greater than 0, the acceptable, and the net present value is less than 0, it is rejected. Symbolically, net present value is equal to C upon 1 plus R up raised to n. It means the net present value of the future sum is C, is to be received after a period means N, and the discounted rate means in R means interest rate. There are the basic net present value method. Okay, and the next is the present merits of the present value method, net present value method. अब नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू के बेनिफिट क्या होती है कि बेनिफिट तो आपके सामने यही है कि भाई अगर हम ये देखें नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू का जो बेसिक बेनिफिट है वो क्या है हमारे पास है. प्रेजेंट वैल्यू मेथड इज द डेफिनेटली इम्प्रूवमेंट अपॉन द ट्रेडिशनल मेथड. मतलब हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो है जो ट्रेडिशनल मेथड था उससे थोड़ा सा उसमें काफ़ी इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ. सो मैनी गुड पॉइंट, मतलब सो मैनी थिंग्स आर इन्वॉल्व इन that is number one, when the calculating, identifying the of a project's profitability of the project, it takes into the account the total working life of the assets. Means next is more objective in its approaches, since that is the uh, depreciation do not have the any effect upon it. And the next is this method has the unique characteristic of matching a cost of borrowing money for investment into the fixed assets with the expected return of such investment. This comparison is made valid by calculating the present value of the amounts receivables in the time to come. By taking time factors into the consideration, possible risk and the uncertainty of the projects are duly recognized. Okay, so there are the some benefits. There are the some the basic benefits, and the next is the limitations. There are some basic limitations. Forecasting of sales and the cost determine the future inflow of cash is a difficult task. इसमें गलती हो सकती है डिसीजन लेने में. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज जो अप्रोप्रिएट इंटरेस्ट आपने डिसाइड किया है उसमें भी कैलकुलेशन में, मतलब जब नियर अबाउट कैलकुलेशन कर रहे होते हैं तो उस टाइम पे हो सकता है कि वो कुछ डेसिमल के कुछ प्लेसेस की वजह से जो है हो सकता है कि इंटरेस्ट रेट में कुछ फ़र्क हो जाए. एंड द नेक्स्ट जो जब हम कैलकुलेशंस कर रहे होते हैं तो उस टाइम पे हम जैसे राउंड ऑफ फिगर्स कई सारी चीज़ों को ले लेते तो हो सकता है कि उसमें भी कुछ फ़र्क पड़ जाए. तो इससे भी जो है इसको कुछ नुकसान हो सकता है. ओके, एंड द नेक्स्ट मेथड इज इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न और IRR method. Internal rate of return, which is sometimes called the time adjusted rate of return method. Project rate of return of the method means yield method, trial and the error yield method is also a modern techniques of the evaluating the capital investment proposal, which the discount the cash flow accounting to the cash flow according to the time involvement. Under the present value, the rate of discount was used to calculate cash inflow. And the other thing is, and the evaluation of the projects, the project which has the highest net present value was ranked at the top. अब यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया, इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न में हमने कहा कि हम इसको रैंकिंग मेथड के तौर पे यूज़ कर लेते हैं. जहाँ पे जिसमें हाईएस्ट रेट ऑफ रिटर्न लिया उसको हमने दे दिया फर्स्ट रैंक, उसके बाद वाले को दे दिया सेकंड रैंक, उसके बाद वाले को थर्ड. तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग हमने उसके रिटर्न को कैलकुलेट कर लिया. ओके, मीन्स एंड अदर थिंग इज अंडर द internal rate of return method, no interest rate is given. Rather than the rate of interest is to be found out, which makes the present value of the cash inflow exactly equal to the amount of the investment. ये तो है ही. अब यहाँ पे रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट का तो कुछ होता नहीं है, बस यहाँ पे यही होता है कि जो हमने 1,00,000 रुपये लगाया वो 1,00,000 रुपये हमें मिल जाएगा. अब कितना बढ़ के मिलेगा आई डोंट नो. ठीक है, so the internal rate of return of the project, thus that the discount rate which is equity to the total present value of the cash inflow with the total initial cash. We also know, in other words, the rate of it is a rate at which the net present value becomes zero. मतलब हम क्या करते हैं कि जो प्रेजेंट वैल्यू होती है हमारी वो हमारी जब तक ज़ीरो ना हो जाए तब तक हम उसको छोड़ते रहते हैं, मतलब हम उसका यूज़ करते रहते हैं. अगर हम इस चीज़ को देखें तो ओके, देयर इज अ इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न इज इक्वल टू डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ इनफ्लो इज इक्वल टू डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ आउटफ्लो, मतलब इनफ्लो और आउटफ्लो दोनों इक्वल होगा, मतलब डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ इनफ्लो इक्वल टू डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ आउटफ्लो। अब इसमें जो इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न कैसे आप कैलकुलेट करोगे, उसके लिए आपके पास there are the two scenarios. Okay, number one scenario, for an investment with uniform cash flow over its life, the following equations we used. That means the present value factor is equal to cost of investment upon annual cash flow. Okay, and the second step is, once the present value of the factors has been calculated, compare the present value factor with the numbers of years equal to the life of the assets with the help of the present value table. तो जैसे हम प्रेजेंट वैल्यू टेबल देखेंगे तो वहाँ पे हमें क्या कैलकुलेट होगा, द रेट ऑफ डिस्काउंट एट विच द प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ऑफ in the annuity for the estimated life of the project equates the present value factors will be the internal rate of return of the project. Okay, इससे आपका इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट आपका कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा। तो इस वैल्यू को आप प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर को की टेबल में देखोगे और वहाँ से जो है आप उसके रेट को कंपेयर कर लोगे। ओके, एंड द सेकंड सिनेरियो क्या होता है, सेकंड सिनेरियो होता है कि द फॉलोइंग जो स्टेप्स होते हैं कुछ हम जो है नेट कैश फ्लो आर नॉट यूनिफॉर्म, तो नेट कैश फ्लो are not uniform, so there are the following steps should be followed. That is, number one, assume the rate of the discount at which the present value of the cash flow should be factored, and the next is calculate the present value of the cash inflow by using the assumed discount rate. आपको assume करना पड़ेगा. And the next is compare the total present value of the cash inflow with the cost of projects. And the next is, if the total present value is more than the capital cost, then assume the higher rate of the discount at which the present value should be factored. और अगर लेस देन द कैपिटल कॉस्ट है तो उस टाइम पे आपको लोअर रेट ऑफ द डिस्काउंट चूज करना पड़ेगा फैक्टर में. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज द रिपीट द प्रोसीजर until the present value of the cash flow equal to the cost of project. मतलब हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि इस पूरे प्रोसेस को हमें तब तक करना पड़ेगा जब जो कैश जो डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ इनफ्लो है वो जब तक डिस्काउंटेड सम ऑफ आउटफ्लो के इक्वल ना हो जाए तब तक हमें इस प्रोसेस को करते रहना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अब इसका मेरिट क्या है, इसका अगर मेरिट देखें तो द फुल स्पैन ऑफ द वर्किंग ऑफ एन एसेट से more objective since the subjectivity consideration like the depreciation. And the next is money has to time value. The method recognize the importance of this in its analysis. And the next is ranking of the projects become the purposeful as this method match the present value method of the cash outflow and the cash inflow. And the next is comparison becomes valid only when the earnings are discounted to the present value, since the difference in the investment have the different earning patterns. Okay, and the next is there are the some limitations. There are the some limitations. Internal rate methods, there is no doubt the considered time value of money, still this method bears the certain limitations which are discussed, that is the tedious calculation process बड़ा लंबा है ना। जो उसकी अप्रोच है वो पर्टिकुलर जो है सिचुएशंस, मतलब बड़ी कंपेयर टू टू प्रोजेक्ट, मतलब हम दो प्रोजेक्ट को कंपेयर करते हैं और सिर्फ वहीं तक सीमित रहते हैं। इन under this method they assume that all the futures cash inflow of a proposal are reinvested at a rate equal to the internal, मतलब यहाँ पे तो वही है कि इनफ्लो और आउटफ्लो जब तक इक्वल ना हो जाए तब तक आप इसको करते रहोगे, तो इससे कोई बहुत बड़ा फ़र्क तो नहीं पड़ा, क्योंकि बात तो वही बढ़ गई, इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू और वो हो गई। तो यहाँ कहीं ना कहीं जो है हम इसको देख लेते हैं कि भाई ये जो है ऐसा ही जो है नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू मेथड में भी होता है, तो भी नेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू मेथड ही क्यों ना अप्लाई कर लिया जाए, है ना। इफ़ एंड द इन्वेस्टमेंट इज़ टू बी मेड, वही चीज़ है आपके पास, है ना। कंसीडर द डिफरेंट कैश आउटप्ले, द प्रोजेक्ट विद द लार्जर कमिटमेंट ऑफ द फंड्स बट lower internal rate of return contributed more than in the terms of obsolete net present value and the increase the shareholders. So finally, this topic is completed, and we are discussed these topic capital busting techniques in used in project management. If you have any queries, so please discuss with me. Okay, and thank you very much.